Hey there, and welcome to 3D Printed FPV, where we talk about everything related to printing, building, and flying 3D printed aircraft and quadcopters. Hey, give me a subscribe or a thumbs up, would much appreciate that. I'm trying to grow this channel and need all the support I can get. All right, buckle your seatbelts. Well, today we're going to continue this Talon 1400 build that I've been working on. If you remember in the last video, we constructed the fuselage and got the main parts of the fuselage put together. This turned out wonderful. Today, what we're going to do is put in the reinforcements for the wing roots. There's two of these that go inside the fuselage. We're going to put the reinforcements on for the outside of the wing roots as well. What these do is the wings actually have a spar that comes through, but they are actually bolted in with, I think, a 6mm nylon bolt. So that bolt puts a little bit of force on the wing root, and what these little pieces of PETG do is keep the lightweight PLA from collapsing under the load of the attachment hardware. So along with that, we're going to go ahead and put in the nose cone attach points and these threaded inserts. So these are M3 5x5 threaded inserts. That's what the directions call for. And we're going to go ahead and use a soldering iron to push those in. Hopefully, there's possibility that we won't get there. In my new studio here, and my soldering iron doesn't quite have enough length on the cord to really do it how I'd want to do it. So yeah, let's get started here. And first thing we'll do is put on this wing root strengthener. You can see it fits just perfectly here. I'll zoom you up a little bit so you get a little bit better view on this. As with all of our points, let's take and just give it a quick sand to roughen it up. This PETG part doesn't need any sanding. It's pretty porous as it is. So I like that. It's looking good. What I'm going to do is grab myself a little bit of acetone, and you know, in each one of my videos, I'm always complaining and talking about the acetone. Make sure that you don't lay your acetone covered towel. Uh-oh, soldering iron fell over. That's not good. I told you that was going to happen. Yeah, make sure you don't put your acetone covered towel on your wife's countertop. Otherwise, she's not going to be happy with you whatsoever. All right, got the acetone out here and almost ready to rock and roll with this. And what I'm going to do is get my contact adhesive out, and oops, I grabbed the wrong CA bottle. That one's clogged up. Need to fix that. Okay. And this one doesn't, there we go. This one didn't want to open. So yep, we got her opened here, and no tricks here. I'm gonna go through and put CA on here. You know, this is not going to carry a tremendous amount of load, but it just strengthens the lightweight PLA, as I was saying. So I'll lay this on. Try to get it in the right spot first so we don't get a big mess here. Oh yeah, that's nice. Turned out nice. Okay. I'm not even sure I have a ton of cleanup to do on this one, but I'll still get out the towel. So I've just got a little bit of acetone on here, and I'm just going to wipe along those edges like so, just to make sure that everything's good. I'm liking it quite a bit. Looks good. I'm just going to give it a quick burst of the accelerator, and that accelerator will get that cured on there. So while we're doing this one, you can see in here on the opposite side of the plane, there's another insert to take the load from that attachment. So these you got to watch out just a little bit on. I should point this out. If you look at these, so there's two of them, and they're almost mirror opposites of one another. But you want your flat edge towards the bottom of the airplane, and then the edge that mimics the airfoil towards the top edge of the airplane. It's kind of hard to see, and I've actually tried to pop them in where it doesn't want to pop in. So that one's actually fallen right into place. Sometimes you have to take and remove just a little bit of one of the ends to get them to fall right into place. So I'm going to reach in here and dose up this surface the best I can. Again, this doesn't carry any load. It's more of compression, so it's not like this is super critical to just get like glued wonderfully. It's more you got to hold it in place, and then the load of the attachment hardware is going to keep it in place. But obviously, you don't want it coming off every time that you play with the airplane. So I've got big enough fingers. It's kind of hard to reach in here. But what I'm going to do is hold that thing in place with the scissors here, and then just give it a burst or two of accelerator. So that's that, and looks good. All right, I'm going to flip this guy over and rotate it around. And to tell you what, since we just did this one, we'll do it again. Again, remember you want your arc surface towards the top, big towards the front. Let's see if it pops in here. That one's falling right into place as well. I might have cheated and trimmed this earlier, to tell you the truth, just so it would fall in place. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue in here as well. Again, like I was saying, it's not that these things have to be glued just perfectly, because all they're doing is carrying the compression load of the hardware. So that's glued up pretty nicely. Go ahead and drop this in. And if you do cut on these things, just make sure when you put them in that your holes line back up and the servo hardware hole lines back up. If you do, make some big adjustments on them, it is possible to get in a state where your holes won't line up anymore. Okay, so that one's in place now as well. And we'll move on up here to this reinforcement, and that fits perfectly as well. So that looks real nice. I'm pretty happy with that. Looking good there. Let me juice this up with some contact adhesive as well. So I've got, I think this is medium flow or medium viscosity adhesive here in my hand. And that's fine for this. You don't want to use the very thin stuff. It'll come rolling out of some joint like this really easy. Okay, that is on, and boom. I really like how that went on there too. That looks super nice, to tell you the truth. I'll just rub it down a little bit with the scissors, give it a little burst of accelerator, and that is done. So look at that. That turned out wonderful. I forgot to mention in the opening, we were also going to put in this plate in the bottom of the airplane. This is where the electronics mount on. It gives us some ventilation under the electronics. You can see that fits in there nice on this particular model. I have had this where it doesn't want to fit, and you've got to take a X-Acto knife and do some like trimming around these edges, like right through here. And actually, now that I point that out, I see just a little bit of like some angel hair here that I'm just gonna run the scissors on just to make it a little smoother in there for this. Okay, I'm gonna get the C contact adhesive out and juice this up as well. Okay. I think this also adds a little bit of stiffness to the airplane down here in a critical area, you know, for a landing or any type of impact that you might take. This part's printed out of PETG, not out of lightweight PLA, so it has to add a little bit of strength to the system and help with some impact. But I think the true point of this part is to get some ventilation underneath of the electronics and through the electronics bay. Okay, that's that. You can tell which side's up on this part because it has Flytory on it. So that drops right into place there. I'll just push it down a little bit. And I'm gonna reach in with my fingers actually and push this one down. And that's that. Okay, voila. So those parts are all in. Now we're gonna see if we can get one of these threaded inserts in. The threaded inserts, like I said, are probably going to be a bit of a problem here for me because of my soldering iron and the cord on the soldering iron isn't quite long enough for what I want to do. So normally I would like lift the model and actually push straight down on the model and put the threaded insert directly in from, you know, like a top-down process. But with the lack of a cord on here, I'm gonna have to try to go in this way. So when you put a threaded insert in, what you want is to get it on your soldering iron, and you want this thing straight into the surface. You don't want to be angled, you know, one way or another or anything like that. So let me push this in. You can see, did a pretty good job there. And you want it, you see I'm tapping on it just a bit there. There you go. You want this thing either just flush with your surface or just a little bit sub-flush. Sub-flush is, you know, better than above the surface, because whatever you're mounting is not going to come down tight. So that went in just perfectly as well. And got one more coming here. You can see I'm going to get this one and that one. Oops, didn't want to stay in. There we go. Now it's staying in for me. So I'm just giving it a little nudge while it's still warm to get it flushed up and right in the spot where I want it. So just put on the next insert and gonna push this in as well, and boom. And give it a few taps here just to get it perfectly level. So those went in a lot better than what I thought they would, going sideways. I normally do them in some setup like this and come like straight down on the top. But you can see those are in there and nice and flush with the surface. Not going to cause any problems in the long term. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug the soldering iron now and let that thing cool down, just as a safety precaution. Okay, so that's unplugged. And now the only step we have left that we wanted to do in this video is actually to put on this reinforcement plate here on the nose of the airplane. What this does is it just provides some strength to these threaded inserts that they don't pull through. So if you see, the holes here are only 3 millimeters versus like the diameter of the threaded insert's 5. So you end up with a nice piece of PETG firmly attached to the nose of the airplane, helping the threaded inserts stay in place. So you can see how that works out. Okay, what I'm gonna do is get the nose of the airplane ready now. Just give it a little cleanup. And you can see when I'm doing this, I'm not getting the inserts at all. The inserts are in a real good spot here, and it's turned out really nice. But I'm just gonna get this angel hair threads of from the stringing of the PLA off the front of the airplane. And now I'm gonna take this thing and apply some CA on here. I'm gonna skip right around the insert just so I don't end up with a gob of CA in the threads of the inserts. That's no fun to deal with at all. Okay. All right, that's that. And I'm just going to take and drop this guy on and get it into place here. So you got to make sure that your inserts line up with the holes in the, right there is the spot. So I'm looking at this thing and I've got my, you can see the holes are lined up perfectly with the inserts now. So I'm going to give this one last blast of accelerator, and that is that. So I didn't even have to wipe this one. Nothing came out the sides beforehand. I was able to see that. So that's wonderful. And what we're going to do is clean up this nose cone, get it mounted up proper on the airplane, and then we'll call it quits for this video. I'm going to get a couple things out of the way. Okay, in the meantime, I fixed my soldering iron and can actually put the inserts in properly and yeah, show how that goes. So I've got my M5 or M3 metric 3 inserts here, and I see that this calls out 1, 2, 3, 4 inserts. here. So let me pull out 4 inserts and see if I don't drop these. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 4 inserts. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get the soldering iron out here and get set up. If you're brave, you can stick these on with your fingers. If you're not so brave and you shake, don't do what I just did. All right, so like I said, you got to get this nice and squared up here and square. You can see it sliding in there. And then I'm going to tweak that one just to get it nice and square and level. Boom. And that is in just perfectly. What I'm going to do is zoom in for you so you can see that process just a little bit better on this next insert. Like I said, if you are brave, you can do that and you don't shake too much. So I'm gonna get this nice and square here and get right in that hole, and you can see I'm keeping it nice and square as I go in, just moderate pressure, and I just tweaked it just to be, and still just a little bit proud of the surface there, if you can see. I'm just gonna heat that guy up just a hair and square it up. So now it's just sub flush. That's exactly how you want it to be. So let me get this next one dialed up here. Okay, that's ready to go now. And we'll go in nice and slow with it and get it nice and square. And yep, have a look at that one. And I might just give that one little tap over here on this one side just to take it down. It looked like it was just proud of the surface just by just a hair. Okay, last one here. I'll get this lined up and get it in. And in it goes nice and steady, nice and square. And right there. Boom. So we got all those inserts in, no problem. I like how that turned out. I'm going to go ahead and get the soldering iron shut off here just for safety purposes. You heard it shut off. Much easier. I'm glad I extended my extension cord there. I'm going to zoom back out for you so you can see the rest of this process. And we will keep rolling on. Okay, so that is done. So next, what I want to do is take and test fit this vented cover. So the walk snail equipment's going to set right in here, and then this vented cover is going to allow airflow to go over that walk snail equipment. So I've got a set of cap screws here. You can buy these off of Amazon or from your local store. What I'm going to do is run this cap screw in. This is a M3 by 6 cap screw, so it should give us enough thread coming on through to pick up the inserts that we just put in the fuselage. If you don't have some of these drivers, this is a 2mm driver in my hand, I highly recommend you get one of these and stop using a angled Allen key. So what I'm doing is just pushing these M3 by 6 cap screws through a bit and letting them chew on the hole and open the hole up a bit before I put these in and actually attach it to the nose cone there. This just allows the holes to open up instead of trying to open them up while you're actually trying to assemble a part. I find this a little easier. Okay. So that's that. I'm going to back these back out again. You notice there's no reinforcement on this nose cone like there is on the overall, or the vent part like there is on the overall nose cone. I would have thought there might have been another piece in here, but I see just the way it fits that there's obviously not one. So we'll go ahead and put this together. I'm just going to back this up until it's allowing the getting back to just flush with the surface there so we can mate the two parts without a gap. I don't mind how this vent cover is holding the cap screws. That way they don't end up on the floor or end up someplace else. So I'm going to start off here and get this guy going in. Feels like he's already picked up the insert and is torquing down nicely. Yeah, that torqued down real nice. Okay, I'm going to do the next one here and torque this one down. zoomed in for you. Not this super interesting, but at least you can see what's going on better. All right. And you don't need to over torque these things and pull out the insert. That would be not a good idea. There's not a lot of load on this, just aerodynamic forces. It's not like it's holding, you know, wings on or taking lift through it or anything like that. Just aerodynamic forces pushing on it. So there we go. I'm gonna go ahead and, well, this guy might not want to be lining up here. Just perfect. I think I just got it to go. Yep. Okay. Just had to push in a little bit. Just a little bit of misalignment between the cap screw and the actual insert. Okay, so all that's torqued down. Look at that. I am really liking that. So what I'm going to do is grab myself some more of these cap screws and see whether my big fingers can fit that in there. And like I said, we're going to have to open these holes up. That one's already pretty open, to tell you the truth. I don't really need to do that there, just a bit. On this one, I'm going to do a little trick and stick the cap screw onto the end of here so my fingers don't have to reach in. And that one's already sliding right through, so obviously the printer left that hole a little bit bigger than some of the other holes. I'm going to do the same, I dropped that one. Do the same thing down here on the bottom of this cone and make sure that we can, yeah, that hole's as well larger than the diameter of the holes on the vent cover. And we'll get this last one right here. And that one I'm gonna have to put a little force on and screw in. So that one was, you know, definitely a little smaller. So that's that. Let's roll this guy out here and see how this goes. All right, that feels good right now. I'll tell you what I did. Actually, between videos here, I took and ran screws into each of these holes just to make sure that they were going to allow the screw to actually get to the insert. So here we go. Let's see here. Okay, that one feels like it's grabbed and is headed in. That's a good sign. Really nice. I like it. Okay, now here's a trick that mechanics use all the time. Instead of just tightening 1, 2, go across diagonally to your other side, and this allows the part to seat itself a little bit better than going just in a circular motion. And then we can come back here and tighten this one up. I'm liking that. Heard a couple like little creaks there with some force being developed on something. Okay, that one's torqued down. And let's do this last one. Awesome. Okay, that is it. And there you have it, a fuselage with a nose cone on it, and yeah, I'm liking it. So, next we'll move on to the hatch covers and the hatch, and then at some point we're going to have to put this tail back on and fix that problem, but I need to print a tail. I still haven't had a moment to print any tail because I haven't had lightweight PLA in the printer here for a bit. This thing is giving me heck, it won't close. Okay, all right. Captain 3D printed FPV is out for real this time. Hope you enjoyed the second part of the Eclipse in 1400 build, and we'll be back with you with the third part of the series where we do the hatch covers and the tail of the airplane. All right. Thank you. Give me a like, follow, and smash that subscribe button.